we've been working on this idea for a year, Lynnée and I, and finding venues to really match the energy and the synergy for an event is really important. And when we reached out to Jocelyn, first of all, I knew she was from Detroit. So if anybody knows about, the D-Town and its influence in house music, then, you gotta know where she's coming from. I'll say that. So we must have had an hour-long conversation about house music while we were talking about this event. And I couldn't be happier because what we have been talking about, Lynnée and I, is really about the migratory patterns of Black music and how it's evolved regionally, its manifestations, and then when you have beautiful souls like Osúnlade who can absorb that energy and put it out into the universe and make it transformative, then you understand the power of that migratory pattern and you understand that force. So when we talk about Black excellence, yes, we're looking at global Black excellence and the theoretical work that Lynnée has done around this, around music, indigenous music, and feminism, and all the things that bring us together. So tonight, we want to first celebrate our ancestors, because as we think about the Congo, it's carried over from the Congo, and all spaces, primarily African spaces. And when you think about your heartbeat and your DNA, you know that what you have inside you is really your first material reality, and no one, no matter what happens in this world, can stop that. So I'm not a long talk because I think this is one of the most important talks that we can have tonight. And without further ado, I want to welcome Osúnlade and Lynnée Denise.
Hey, and you all really do look amazingly gorgeous. Yes. I'm like, you're making me shy.
Absolutely.
So gorgeous. Well, first of all, I'd like to just pause and give a warm thank you to Kara. I know she just spoke, but she is the mastermind behind this event. She's an archivist and the director, obviously, of the Amistad Research Center. And this is the kind of person that, we can talk about music for hours. She talked about that migratory power and that kind of sonic Black excellence. And I just want to say thank you for trusting me with this conversation and for allowing me to be in conversation with truly one of the greatest house and really musicians in our community. So thank you so much. And also to Bernadette, who is planning and organizing. So thank you both so much. So I'm gonna actually stick to a script because I can imagine myself being like, and another thing, and what about your auntie? How is she? Right, so I'm gonna, right, but I'm gonna, so before we get started, I'll share a little bit about where I'm coming from so that you understand the subtext of the conversation. I feel like I am a community-appointed Black music scholar. Maybe I've been appointed by my family. I don't know exactly who.
And us.
I'm not sure, but
sure.
What I do know for sure is that my work around Black music is not affiliated with any academic organization. Those are historically hostile spaces where my work would not be able to thrive. So some of that graduate work happened in my basement listening to his work. And that, I may have listened to an Osunlade mix and turned around and read a book by Baldwin and didn't miss a beat. Like those two were in conversation. So I just want to kind of give you all some context. It's interesting to think about house music and those migratory patterns because I came into house music very late in the game because LA is not one of those places. Yeah. When you think about migration, and even when you think about New Orleans, I don't think the New Orleans caught on to a deep house scene either. So similarly to LA, right, we were on the edges of this sound. Whereas, and we're going to talk about this in detail, Osúnlade was at sort of like the center of what I call the holy trinity of St. Louis, Detroit, and Chicago. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, the day I discovered Osunlade is the day my lens changed. So we'll talk about that throughout the conversation, but just let me explain the culture of house before we get started. People will travel for house music.
Oh, yeah.
People travel for house music, for the music, for the fellowship, for the energy, for the healing, and for the sonic relief. So when I tell you all, I have followed him around the globe. I have seen him in Detroit. I have seen him in LA. I have seen him in Greece. I've seen him in Amsterdam. I've seen him in New York. I've seen, right? Like, where are you going to be? No. Oh, good. So we can, all right, I'll be there.
Yeah,
no, exactly. I said I'm in Greece. No, I said I'll be there.
Yeah,
like, so the video you all saw was a video, right? When I followed him to Greece. It's me. I'm here. And he's like, oh, I have lavender. I'm growing lavender. Actually, right? It was 3 a.m.
I was making oil.
Right? That's fine. So we travel for house. So yeah, I have followed him around the world, and quite honestly, I've been studying his music and the music of his affiliates, at Jazz, Nadia Shakur, so many people that he's worked with as a jazz musician, really just Black musician, period. And so I came into house music through Masters at Work, sort of like a 101 to house music. But when I discovered the Yoruba sound, my vibe changed. I was like, wait a minute, it's diasporic, it's informed, it's interesting, it's multi-layered, the instrumentation is advanced, it's in the lineage of jazz, blues, soul, Miles Davis, Prince, whoever, Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin, Mahalia Jackson. Let me not call out this queen's name, Mahalia Jackson in her space. So, but before you even speak, I actually, I'm still not letting you speak because we got to set this up. I need us to just kind of allow his music to kind of bless the space. Is that cool before we get started?
Oh, you were the first one.
Hey, what? Okay, wait a minute. Let me. Thank you so much. Right, sorry. I am not acting like Beyonce. Native Tongue, 1999. Tell me about it.
Native Tongue was the first. It was on the first EP, the first release of the label, and there wasn't any real single, but that became the single because the South African people loved it. They were doing the Kwaito thing, and it was the first release and the first thing I ever got licensed in South Africa. I'm like, oh, my people in Africa, they want my. But I heard it, and they had the Kwaito, so it was like, I think it's like 120 BPM. It pitched it down to 110, so it was like.
Oh, you did slow it down.
Yeah, they slowed it down. It was so. That was for me like, oh wow, okay. First record, Africans calling. I'm good. Yeah. But the premise of the song was just that. It was some African chants and just some raw. At the time I was living in New York, and I just started the label December. The first release was December, and I've been going to parties just like you. I knew Louis. I knew all these guys. Timmy Regisford, the Body and Soul guys. I was going to those parties every Saturday, every Sunday. Yeah, that was just like my education for house music. I mean, I grew up in St. Louis and discovered house in Chicago, but New York is where the label started, and that sound, coming from major label production and starting my label and hearing Ron Trent, Joe Paul, all these guys that were like, oh wow, here's live instrumentation where I'm coming from producing New Jack Swing for Warner Brothers, and I'm like, oh, that's, it's all drum machine and stuff, and I'm hearing people playing percussion, and I was like, oh, that's it. So I took it back to that, and that was the reason for the label, just to kind of do what my heart felt.
I just wanted to open with one of your first songs, just to kind of set it off. When did you hear last? When did you hear that song last?
It's been a while.
Right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So
I probably play it maybe once every 3 years or something.
I love it. So I just wanted to...
But when I do, it's refreshing. It's good.
Right?
It's good. It's good.
you're in New Orleans for the first damn time.
First
Can we
time.
please give him a round of applause?
First time in New Orleans. I love it.
Like, that's
Definitely not the
amazing.
last.
Yes, yes.
No, the love here,
Yes.
just everything is just like, all right, I'm home.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
First day, like Frenchman Street, and I was going around, and for me, I was like, all right, live music
Period.
everywhere, art everywhere, and just you just feel this love. You have a conversation with somebody. It's a conversation. It's like 30 minutes, and you're like, okay, I gotta
Right.
go, but I'm like, I love it. Let's go. Let's
Right.
I had so many lessons. I bought what was the name of it? Evan, the name of the shirt, the flambeaus. I bought a shirt, and the lady had the flambeaus. I got the entire education of that, which I had
Right.
no idea about.
Right.
So, yeah, just that, learning the history of our people.
Yeah.
And to see how this was such a different state of the South than the other places. That was like really, really, amazing to me. But yeah, it's been amazing.
And that's amazing because
And the Ace Hotel is fucking great.
Right, Ace Hotel
Like,
is doing
yeah, like
Thank you very much,
amazing. Like,
house music friendly and just
yeah.
a space
Thank
for
you,
community.
Jocelyn. Thank you very much.
No, that's actually amazing.
It's been good. It's been really
Absolutely,
good.
very much so. Because I was like, you've been to every corner in the world,
Well,
right?
New Orleans is one of those places you see it and like, all right, that's party time. I'm gonna go there and just act a
Right.
fool. And I'm like, you know what? I said it's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. And I didn't want to go Mardi Gras. I don't want to go when it's touristic.
Right.
I want to go with locals. And I was like, then when you reached out to me, I was like, yes, let's
Yeah,
do this.
I was so happy.
It's like, all right, I'm staying 3 days. I need to like move
Yes.
around and vibe it out. So it's been
Yes.
perfect. And it's been downtime. And like I said, the stay here has been amazing.
Which, by the way, I love that you were like, no, I'm not there for one day.
No.
Like
no. I
part
got to
of
see
my
the world.
negotiation.
I travel. I live to travel.
I love
it's
that.
yeah.
I love that so much, and I feel like
Can I
Oh,
stop
totally.
you?
Please.
So I'm working on a project. So last night we did a song called Orleans,
come on.
which I'm playing tonight.
Oh, wait, did y'all hear what he said? We made a song last
Yeah.
night. Did y'all hear that I'm
So
playing
we actually
tonight?
went out and we saw some blues, and one of the chicks, the lead singer, did a monologue between songs, and so it's actually featured in the song. So it's actually Orleans in the record.
I love it.
Influenced, inspired, and created here.
I love it.
In the Ace Hotel.
Yeah.
808.
808.
You did that on purpose. I was like, we got there. I was like, oh, we in the beat room. All right, let's make some beats.
I could not.
I mean, it was like everything was
Right.
serendipitous. I was like, okay, cool. It's got to happen.
Like, who set that up? This is and it
Well,
feels good.
Detroit.
I love
you know.
that. Like, right. That was no accident.
No, not at all.
So, but it's just an amazing thing as music people to be in New Orleans. It's truly sacred ground, and not just for these stereotypical French Quarter jazz, voodoo, come and hear the blues kind
Get
of,
some gumbo.
propaganda.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the deep-rooted soil, the Haitian, African, diasporic, drum, horn, second line shuffle. That quite honestly, is it not one of the cradles of black music?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
one of the cradles.
Absolutely.
It's one of the cradles. So it's like super dope to be here with you in this cradle.
It's always good to see you, love.
And just this diasporic dialogue. So, born and raised in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because wow, St. Louis and New Orleans, right?
Yeah. Jazz
First
and blues.
cousins
Yeah,
or cousins.
Yeah, cousins.
Who would you say is the first cousin of New Orleans? Like, there's like, oh, you would say Chicago. Alabama. So
Alabama, okay.
so not necessarily. Okay, so musically.
Well,
We do have a lot of cousins.
We got a big family.
And there are a
there's
few
lot
play
that's around,
cousins,
yeah.
because I'd be curious of who are the play cousins of New Orleans, because Detroit and LA are play cousins.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just thinking about, but the musical legacy and the history, because I think a lot of times what we do with house music is remove it from a bass and act as though it's soulless because it's electronic, or some of it is electronic, people like you who incorporate live instrumentation. But what was it like? What was your sonic experience growing up in St. Louis?
St. Louis was about funk.
Period.
We got funk. We got everything from the Midwest, everything that came from the major cities, everything that no one else got. because we were right next to Ohio. We got all the, so we got all of the funk stuff. So I grew up on funk.
Who?
You name them, Cameo, Ohio Players. I mean, you go down the list. I got albums of people. I'd be like, hey, Ebony Webb, like, so it was just really like regional stuff. But I was introduced to house when I was about 13 years old. I used to spend every summer in Chicago, and so I heard house there. And the first record I heard ever was Funk Master Jack Farley.
Yes. Yes.
Can I say it? Jack the Bass.
Yes.
That was the first one I ever heard, and that was like. It's like, what is this music? The bass like, I was like, what is this? And for me, I was a Prince fan then, so that was kind of like, kind of punkish, kind of.
Interesting.
So I related Prince to that music.
Great.
And so yeah, from there, just that was my introduction.
Okay.
And so I got it a different way in New York when I lived in the 90s in New York because it was more club music, and I related it to more of a culture as opposed to just hearing the sound of it.
No, that makes total sense, and I'm glad that you mentioned the Prince connection to house.
Yeah.
And we talked about
that's
Prince.
That influenced so much music, from the 80s. It's like you can't deny that everything from the 80s, at least into 2000, had some influence, and even now.
That's a major statement that Prince had that kind of impact on from 1979 to 2000. Hardcore influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% I agree, especially because of because I want to shout out the fact that, or I want to be honest about the fact that MTV was not playing Prince. And in fact, Electrifying Mojo, and we talked about this, and Detroit. Detroit embraced Prince in such a way, so it makes sense that techno took off.
That was his second home.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And so I have a picture up here of Mahalia because she's Mahalia. Is, she's Mahalia. Right? And in fact, I was thinking about her voice over house music.
That would be awesome.
She wouldn't approve necessarily. We can throw a gospel.
But you know what? She would heal so many people.
It would be amazing to hear Mahalia. So
she would approve.
Hey. But I appreciate it.
You might have to do something about that.
I was gonna kind of make a request from here, a live one. Like, did y'all hear? He said he's gonna remix a Mahalia, which is incredible.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
That would be amazing. This is when you think about
the seed is in.
When you think about the women's voices, taking being a primary tool in the creation of house, because a lot of times women get removed from that narrative of what house music is. But I love how you work with Nadir Shakur so much and other vocals, and so I just wanted to again bring Mahalia into the space.
It's a powerful one.
Out of respect of where she is. So we're gonna do something interesting. We have not planned a conversation, and so I'm just kind of doing pictures in association. So you tell me what comes up for you here.
Oh, wow.
Tell me.
Oh, wow. So that's Toni Basil. I don't know if many of you know her. She did the song Mickey.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine.
So when I lived in L.A., I moved to L.A. From St. Louis in 87, 88. No place to live kind of thing. And I was introduced to her by a friend that I did some jam session with at the studio, and she called me and goes, I'm doing a movie with Thomas Dolby and some other people, and I want to know if you would want to do a song on us for the soundtrack. So I flew out there, and basically I lived with her for 3 months and created music for Sesame Street and for some other things, for the movie and some other things.
Do you know who Thomas Dolby is? He's
She
blinded me with signs. That's our only. I feel like that hit the black radio. I feel like because I can't name a single other song actually.
There's a few. He's got a few.
I'm sure he does, but
I scare myself. That's the jam.
See, and this is the difference in our DJ ears. He's like, you don't remember that 1983 classic?
Right.
The liner note said it. He produced it in. Right. I'm like. But that makes sense. Yeah. So I wanted to see who she was and what her influence was.
Yeah, she was just that was my first I'm in Hollywood, because she, lived in one of those little Hollywood bungalows, and she was a Hollywood chick every day. She was an agent, or she was choreographing for Bette Midler or Devo or some Sesame Street or whatever.
I love it.
Yeah, and so I'm seeing seeing this whole Hollywood thing, and as a 17, 18-year-old, you know, you're like, yeah, I'm going for it. So it was just a great experience. Just a bit of, you know, I've always kind of learned to put in this state of mind of whatever situation you're in, that's a situation that you can become. If you go to someone's house that's got 10 rooms in it, you're there. That's a reality that could be yours because that's in your space now. So I put myself, all right, well, I'm in this. So I got a few benefits from that situation. And actually, the funny thing, you put her up because about 2 weeks ago, there's a video of her that's like gone viral, dancing to one of the Yoruba Records songs.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm sure she doesn't even know it's my song.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because we've not been in touch. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
because it's a full circle connection.
It's a full circle, exactly.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Speaking of the music, I hope you all don't mind a few music breaks, praise breaks. Okay. Some sushi? Some what? Oh,
Sufi.
nice.
Sufi, yeah.
All right, here we go. It's my shit. Hey. I have to hear the break if you don't mind. I have to hear the break. I have to hear the vocals and then. all right. The vocals and then we're done. Right after the vocals, we're done. Hey. That's hard. What are we doing here, turning this on and off? This is hard. But quick note before you respond, these are not the actual covers. I just kind of wanted you all to get familiar with some of his covers. This is from a different album. Please talk
Yeah.
about the song in that album.
So this song is about a breakup,
Oh,
obviously. No way I'm going to stay. I'm
Well,
leaving you
hey.
yesterday. I'm already gone.
yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I'm gone.
happened
So yeah.
already.
So that album was actually my last house album, which was in 2009, called Pyrography, which was done with an artist from Australia, which is he does art, which is pyrography is the burning of paper. It's like a soldering instead of it's like flame to paper, and so. I wanted to do a homage to the Orisha. This guy basically is a bush dude, so all of his paints are from seeds, plants, flowers. It's all DNA. It's all, you know, berries. So there's there's nothing false in it. It's all organic. And so we decided to do this this project together. And I wanted to make the Orisha from this a new depiction of them, because when you look online or you see anyone's art, they look like superheroes. And I'm like, oh, they need to look like the power that they are. And so we did basically a book and an album based around pyrography, which I had, my madrina, she did all of the prayers for each Orisha, the original prayers from Lukumi. And we also showed which formats he used in the painting. So yeah, it was a really important album for me. But it was also the last house album because I spent so much time on that, and something about the house demographic of buyers. It's the most illegally bootleg music in the world. So, you know, like I think within a week, there was like 80,000 sites sharing the files. So I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I mean it's been an amazing thing for me. So we just put it out on vinyl actually.
Yeah.
Last year.
Well, but I think what's significant about it is you've had how many full albums? 8? 9? Nine
Yeah,
full albums?
Not compilations, but yeah, albums.
Yeah, albums.
Yeah,
Studio albums, which just for the record, not only is house music one of the most like bootlegged, most bootleg genres of music, but rarely, how many of you have listened to entire house albums? Or do you listen to house songs? Because it's a very single-driven, but I see Sage, but see, Sage is OG, and you've been, this is a different, you keep your hand down, because I know that you, but I know you've been listening for years, but it's rare to have house music albums.
Yeah.
You're not like such and such's album is coming out, and then Drake's album is, no, right? That these are single-driven, so the fact that you have 9 house music,
Chapters
albums.
of my life.
It's major. It's major.
Of my life, yeah.
All right.
Little diary.
I love it. And I mean, it's actually one of my favorite albums. It's interesting. You talk about just your global experience.
Yeah.
And before I get to the next slide, and speaking of your kind of diasporic and global citizenship, you've lived in LA. You said you spent 10 years in LA. Now you moved to New York.
5 years in Puerto Rico, 11 years in Greece.
Okay.
Where
in Greece?
Santorini.
Yeah. And why did you move to, I know you've been asked this a lot, and I actually made it a point to not ask about Sesame Street, by the
really?
way.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask myself, did we talk about this?
Because I have other questions, and I'm like, when I see people interview you, they sleep on things that I want to know, so I'm going to ask those questions. But why did you move to Puerto Rico?
Bush was nominated president,
Period.
and I felt like as long as I'm sitting on this land and that man is president, I am guilty of all the things that are going to happen. So I moved. Not, it wasn't such a far stretch, but it was just an easy thing to get off the physical land for me. I didn't feel right. And yeah.
I just say that for those of us who are contemplating, becoming expatriates because of the time that we're in, that those are real options, and that there's this long history of Black folks that packed up and left. And I love the fact that Tina Turner is like, guess what? I'm no longer American.
Right.
Y'all got that?
Right.
Of course, Baldwin was gone.
St.
Louis, come on.
See?
Actually,
Yeah,
yes.
St. Louis.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I just love that idea. So just thinking about us as, being a migratory people.
Yeah,
and of course, white supremacy is global. I'm clear. We're clear about, there's no fantasy and, utopic place. But there's something about separating from this physical space that I think is useful. And I love that you've modeled that and lived in. Where else? So Puerto Rico, Greece, where else?
I've lived in Atlanta, LA, New York. That's pretty
Berlin.
much it. Yeah. Berlin, I lived in Berlin. Yeah.
And you've moved back home.
I moved home last December.
So
it was so good.
So to be back in St. Louis, I'm going to be excited to hear what you're producing there and kind of like how that return home, impacts the music.
I can tell you now.
Right. Oh, go on.
So the last time I saw you was in Greece, 3 years ago.
In LA.
Okay, well, the last time when I saw you in Europe.
Yeah.
2016. In Mykonos, I was working on my album then.
Yep.
So finally finished that, which has been 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest accomplishment of my life. It's with a 15-piece orchestra, and it's a funk album. So it's totally back to roots, and I'm back home.
I love it.
So it's been good.
I love it. Are we gonna get a title or?
It's called Ache.
Okay. Did y'all hear that? Say it again, please.
Ache.
For the people who in the back who didn't hear it. Okay, excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of returning to your roots.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So, I produced and wrote Rico Suave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to know the story about that? Okay. So Michael Cimbello, when I moved to LA after the movie with Tony Basil, I was working with the engineer of the project, of the film, and he was Michael Cimbello and Bobby Caldwell's engineer. So basically, I learned production in their studios between Michael Cimbello and all these things in studios. And so Gerardo, my first when I moved to LA, I was associated with a lot of break dancers through Tony Basil and that thing. So a lot of the dancers, and he was one of them. A lot of them at the time, they wanted to sing. So they all wanted to do demos, and I was that dude struggling in LA, like, hey, all right, $300, I can make you a demo. $300. So I was, you're struggling, you're hustling. So Gerardo was actually doing a movie called Colors. I don't know if you remember that movie.
LA Colors?
Yeah, he's in Colors. He's the guy that shoots Dennis Hopper.
No, I need to go back and...
Yeah, he's the main nemesis in the movie.
I need to go back.
So he was doing another film in Acapulco. We had done Rico Suave, a 4-track version. He went to Acapulco for some film, hired the film crew on an off day, did a video. If you ever watch the video now, there's parts of the video where he has no hair and parts of the video where he has extensions. Part of the ones that there's no hair is in Acapulco, and that's when we got the deal. So anyway, I took the demo to Michael Cimbello. Michael took it to Jimmy Iovine, who was starting a label called Interscope, and with a guy named Ted Fields. Ted Fields was the 3rd richest man in California at the time, and he told us, if it doesn't sell a million copies, I'll buy 1 million. I'm 17, struggling. I'm like, let's do this, let's go. Period, whatever. And it was the first record on Interscope. Very first record.
That's major.
Before Dre, before all that.
Yes!
Yeah.
That's where was that in the Defiant ones? That's not a major?
They speak about it, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was that, and then it was Marky Mark. After that.
Marky Mark. Okay.
Yeah. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just, again, wanted to kind of give you an example of his history and how layered it is, right? And how beyond, or how much it transcends and builds on house music. And I know that you talk about being kind of shaped and you having your ears shaped by funk and, of course, jazz. By the way, he has no idea. I follow him on Spotify. It's amazing for me because he's like, oh, you're listening to Art Tatum? I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're listening to such and such? I'll be back, right? And you listen to a lot of, and we're going to get into Ifa and Yoruba and your practice, but those drums that you stay listening to and jazz, and there's a new album.
I'm a jazz ambient dude. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm a spirit mood dude. I'm a slow energy dude. I save my energy for this, and and to share. But yeah, in my life, I'm like, I've learned how to balance my energy, and that's been a big work in progress. And it's good to be here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, praise
El
break,
Egua
y'all.
told me I can never be any place without music.
Who told you that?
El Egua.
Hello.
I always have to have music.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the room, I'm like,
Yeah.
like, are you nervous? I'm like, no, I'm making music.
Yeah.
I'm making music, you know. That's the thing,
I love it.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and then you have all these, now I'm thinking about our conversation in Greece, these mixers or folks who want to sponsor you.
Yeah.
The number of drums you had, the keyboard, your studio is serious.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, the great thing about traveling and meeting people and learning other things is that you incorporate those things in your life and you spread that energy. And, it's, I'm here to evolve, and that's part of it, Yeah.
Before I get into the next piece, I actually want to think about and talk to you about adoption.
Yeah.
Because you talk about it with an incredible amount of tenderness as being a part of, who you've become. So can you say a little more about that?
So I was adopted at birth, and it's been a very singular life for me. As up until like my 40s, I was very introvert, and music was my only friend. So. But yeah, being adopted was such a gift for me because I was chosen. People are like, "Oh, you were given up." I was like, "No, I was chosen."
Wow.
I met my biological family. I was like, could not have music if I wasn't adopted. My father was my idol. He was like, whatever you want to do. At 7, I was like, I want to play piano. Next week there was a piano in the house. I was in piano lessons. At 12, I want this keyboard. Next paycheck, there was that keyboard. So, and they didn't understand it, but he was like, that's what he wants to do. That was my blessing. And then I've adopted a kid when I was 24. I met a kid that was a drug dealer, and he was 12 years old. No one loves me. No one's ever gonna love me. I'm like, You're 12. How could you feel this? So yeah, I got that situated, and yeah,
You just changed my entire framework around the idea. I may not use the word adoption again, like to be chosen.
yeah, you're chosen.
It's a whole nother kind
Yeah.
of energy around the experience. And I'm glad
Yeah.
you talk about it openly to kind of move away from what could be a stigma or shame attached
Yeah,
and to
no,
say you've been chosen.
I was given two angels. My parents
Period.
were my parents.
I
were
love it.
angels. Yeah. So,
I love it.
But I think like in everything in our life, we choose. So I chose them. So you know, they were just giving it back. So yeah, I mean, nothing in this life for me has been by chance. Everything has been fate. It's been written, and so I understand that. And in my walk, I understand that it's already made. I'm just here to make the choices and figure out best ones to move without obstacles. And the music is part of that, because every song I make is exactly like making a song about New Orleans. It's
Right.
about my life.
Yeah, present. You're present.
Yeah, it's present. I am here. I don't think about the past, and I don't know what the future is right now. The present is the gift. You know.
It really is.
Yeah.
Being
So,
present and being able to be present
it's
is a gift.
important. So
And you've also talked about being chosen and how that has shaped your approach to chosen family.
Yeah.
So like when we were in Greece, you said that there were multiple people who lived here. You gave us a tour of the house. There
Yeah.
was a DJ set up here. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you were cooking. You had ginger tea, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the ginger tea was amazing. But talk about that. Like that ginger tea was awesome.
yeah,
But
I make a good ginger tea.
like that,
Straight up.
it's amazing. And this was after the club. You were like, yeah, come
Yeah.
on over. I was like, no, you don't understand. I want to film you. He's like, uh-huh.
Yeah,
And I was
let's
like,
go.
no, but it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I showed up. But
Yeah.
you talk
Yeah,
about
you did. You too.
and it was awesome. And when I showed up, y'all were out in these streets playing chess or
Yeah,
checkers. Where were you?
backgammon.
Even
Backgammon.
better, which is interesting,
Yeah,
right?
that got me.
So chosen family, right? And with that, and also your ability to kind of move from place to place and not feel super attached
I'm
to
not
place.
attached to anything. No. I belong to nothing and everything.
From here and there.
Yeah, I'm just here, man. I mean, I'm just walking the path. You know, I've accepted a long time ago that I know nothing. So, you know, I can know everything if I know nothing. So, yeah, no, I try to just be free. It's, you know, my energy is very open to, and I'm an empath and into energy. So I know where I need to be when I need to be. Now I need to be in the States with my mom, taking care of her, and having experiences like this, you know. And I think that that's one of the things that is fortunate, because I've moved to the States.
You could be
actually,
here.
yeah, I'm doing more things in our community and here. You know, this last year, it's been like I've played places I've never been in the States. And I'm like, I'm from here.
Yeah,
Why have I not been here? So
I love
it's
it.
been really good. Yeah.
And just a shout out to your mama who sometimes travels with you.
Yeah.
And tours with you
Yeah.
and takes disco naps so that she
Oh,
could
to
be at the
party
club
with
with
me.
you.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
your mama out here taking
Like,
disco naps?
Front and center in the floor, like, come on, y'all, my baby playing, you know, like, like, all right, let's go. Straight up.
I mean, that's something, you know?
Yeah, she's funny. You know, she ships the records for me from the label, so I can just actually ship the records to Detroit for the gig tomorrow. So she's definitely involved.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, praise break, y'all.
Sure. Oh, you played that one.
Oh, play that. Different praise break, y'all. You know what?
You played that.
So nice, you named it twice. So, no, okay. Praise break will come after this because I actually want to first get into
Ooh,
these people.
wow. So Jeffrey Daniels was in a group called Shalimar.
Hello.
And he thought he was a singer. And I produced his first album. No, so that was actually the first production I've ever
Right.
done. Like the first
Right.
album I produced, and that was with Dick Griffey, which was like, oh man, that was a story. I mean, so back in the days, like all of these guys, Dick Griffey, Barry Gordy, they have a history of being pretty much tyrants and not paying anyone, and that was pretty much the situation. So, but I got a record out of it, and I got the education of producing in a proper studio. So That was good. I mean, at the time it was kind of weird because he was choreographing for Michael
Right.
and Loose Ends and everybody's video, so we didn't really have much time in the studio with him. So we was just kind of doing our own thing. But it was a great experience.
That's funny that you say he thought that he could sing. You didn't have much time in the studio.
Oh man, there is an acapella on that record that is released, and I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, are you, like, literally, when he did it, I was like, I'm leaving. I can't even bear this. It's really bad. It's really bad.
But and then meanwhile, he's like the kind of voice behind Michael Jackson's moonwalk.
I mean, yeah, he taught Michael the moonwalk.
Right?
He's the choreography.
Right. That's Michael's.
All the 80s, 90s video, every video he was choreographing.
Yeah. And also Solar Records, right? Sounds of Los Angeles
Sounds of Los
Records.
Angeles, yeah, I mean,
Wasn't it affiliated with Don Cornelius?
Don Cornelius and Dick Griffey.
Right. So
Yeah.
I mean that's just that
I mean,
LA
they had
history.
Midnight Star, Lakeside.
The Whispers.
The Whispers. They had a good
Yeah.
run. They had a good
Yeah.
roster, yeah.
That's why I stopped.
Climax, Bernadette Cooper.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember going to the office with Dick Griffey when I had to do because they basically hired me as a musician through the union. So I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'm getting paid through the union, but I want a production credit. So I walk in the office. He's like, I didn't give Bernadette Cooper producer's credit.
Right.
He's running down the list of all the people. I'm like, well, I'm not working on this record. Because he wanted me to sign exclusive and all. So again, you know, in those early years of me learning the business, and I'm with this dude that's kind of like Black Mafia, you kind of do, and he's like some Suge Knight before Suge Knight.
Barry Gordy?
Which-
I'm thinking of Barry Gordy.
No, Suge, but I actually met Suge Knight in the situation.
Oh, I think you said that.
Before he was Suge Knight.
Yeah.
When he was a little kid, because he was working with these guys. But yeah, it was, you know, it's one of those situations where you feel the energy and you're like, no, this is not for me. So I took what I had and left. But yeah, first production.
That's major.
Nothing I'm proud of, but
I don't.
no. Musically, it's totally like, oh, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
I was thinking, hey, I gotta work. Let's get it on.
Right. Which is why I didn't bring up the Sesame Street, because I heard you describe it as a job you had to do to eat.
Well, basically, because I was living with her at the time, they were rehearsing the dance steps, and I just had my drum machine, and I was just making beats, and so they were just accustomed to those things, so that's what they used. So it wasn't like a planned thing, it was just a gift. You know?
I love that.
So, yeah.
So,
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Bird. No,
Yeah,
but no, but which also actually makes me think about the fact that, because I did a deep dive and kind of went through all of your interviews to hear and to try to ask these different questions, because I was super surprised to learn that you produced some New Jack Swing work, like Eric Benet's first album, Music Soul Child.
I did Femininity. I did 3 songs on that album, but Femininity was mine. Then I did some stuff for India.Arie, Vivian Green, Emotional Roller Coaster was mine.
Oh, all right.
Music Soul Child. Thank you. That was a woman's song. I mean, we wrote that for y'all.
I love that. Clearly.
So me and Eric Roberson wrote that. And we also did Music Soul Child's first album, Merry Go Round, and Settle for My Love, a few other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in the whole neo soul thing for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, that's just interesting. Again, I'm just going through the library so you all can see these layers. So you left LA and you stopped making music for like 2 years.
Yeah.
What happened during that time?
I was just fed up with the business of it. I went into it as a young kid, you know, with like everything. I think, I'm going to be the next Teddy Riley. I'm going to have my, you know, maybe rich.
A keytar.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, that didn't happen, and you learn like that no matter what you do musically, you know, you're working for a label like Warner or Sony or whatever, and they're like, well, I need a song like this. And it's like, well, yeah, I can do that, but that's not really me. But you do it, and it's like, you know, you play the game. And then after a while, I just realized that listening to the music I was making was not my music. And so I stopped. And then Yoruba appeared. My ancestors were like, And so, I went through 2 years and had my first Ocha and became a priest. And then I moved to New York, and I was offered a label deal with Tommy Musto. And so, I was like, I want this to be protected by the Orisha, so it had to have the blessing of the ancestors. And so started the label, and pretty much that's it.
Well, I mean, but that brings us to Congo Square.
Yeah, we
You
were
know?
talking about that earlier.
Yeah, that direct connection. And I know that you all have seen this picture a million times, I'm sure. And can someone, who's
Oh
the
yeah, I've seen that
artist,
picture.
Kara? Thank you. I just wanted to say her name and
I've
like,
seen that before. So
um,
that's in the square. Okay.
but I was looking through these photos and of course knowing your sound and being like, yeah, you're at home. You're at home in this space. This all makes sense. Can you pronounce this name, Afefe Eku?
Afefeku.
And can you explain the concept behind it? Or is it
Afefeku
public?
is my name as Olodumare sees it. And that is, the description is the winds of death. I'm a child of Oya and Ochun, both. And yeah, so that's Oya. And so the music when I make music, it's Afefeku. It's only described as it's a bit more aggressive. It's definitely more Apollo influenced. A bit deeper cut. Whereas Osúnlade, I'm a lover at heart, so all my stuff is a little bit more smooth. Whereas Afefeku is like, no, I'm about to beat you up. So yeah, it's
mirror
different.
dance.
Yeah, you know, it's a different feeling, but and the funny thing is, I started releasing as Afefeku on my second Ocha. I've had two Ochas, which is kind of strange in the passage, but. Oya moved me to Greece in a windmill. I'm like, all right, the wind moved me in a windmill. I'm like, okay, again, just being like, okay, I'm just walking this path. Y'all know what you're doing. So, and then I made the first record of Afefeku there. Yeah.
I mean, Mirror Dance, I totally thought I had it here, but it is a house music classic. Look it up. And there are two versions. There's a 10-minute and what version with
Oh, the 10-minute
one?
one with Obvious?
My God, and I don't do a lot of spoken word. I struggle. Like, I just kind of can't. Sometimes the cadence just does something, but
no, he's
that,
serious.
yeah.
He's serious.
Yeah, the connections.
He's serious with it, yeah.
Something I remember about how he describes Michael Jackson is something about the moonwalk got jacked, son. Right?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the fellow DJs, right? Yeah. Colette in the house. Yep.
She had to come up later.
Yeah. Yes.
Come and play with us.
Absolutely. Please do. And we were talking at lunch about.
You can use my sticks.
Yes. Hello. Because we were talking about your pants. We were talking about the birthday pants. Yeah. Okay, let's not have a side conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
So global citizenship and the tax of traveling while Black American. So my heart has been broken so many times while traveling and hearing people talk about who Black Americans are and who they aren't and what we don't know and how we're searching and all these things. But then when you went to South Africa, I know that that's an intense space, but I mean, I was one of the people who agreed because I witnessed. But can you talk a little bit about what you saw?
So I went to South
happened?
Africa. I took my mom. I'd been there, you know, when the whole South African thing happened like 12, 13 years ago. I'd been going, 2-3 times a year, and I was like, oh man, again, I'm playing in South Africa with, 20,000 Black folks dancing to my music. Yes. I hadn't gone in about 10 years. I had an offer to go, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take my mom. Mom, you're going to go to Africa. We're going to party with our people like you've never seen it. And I did a festival, and throughout the entire trip, I felt a very strong not racist, or prejudice, or just kind of anger from Black South Africans to me, and it was just hard for me to see certain things, like the straight disrespect from a white South African to a Black South African, or when you go into I was treating my mom like, okay, we go to business class, we walk into business class, everyone that works in there is Black South African. They're looking at us like, what the fuck are you doing in here? Like, why are you in here? And so just the way, and then I realized after that it was mostly that since the apartheid's been over, there's been such a shift of, there's been some that have made it, but the majority hasn't. And so the majority that hasn't looks upon the ones that made it, so they're looking at me like I'm Black. So I don't know, and I'm looking at, the entire thing, and I'm like, this is not right. The way we were treated from many different scopes of the road. So I wrote about it, and I was like, be better for yourself. I wasn't that nice. I said it in not a nice way, but it was like, they're killing us over here. If you guys don't wake up, it's gonna be that over there. Like you don't see, like, apartheid's not finished. It's still it's still rampant, and it's you've now have a mind, a conditioned mind, that now you're against each other. And it did make me feel welcome. And I've talked to many of my black friends, even French friends that go there, and they're like, yeah, I see it, and I see it, And I was treated well for the festival and the whole thing, but overall, just the people and the way they related to each other was just, I was like, man, that's what got us here in America. And it's the same kind of, it's underneath. No one's talking about it. They're just living it, and it's boiling. And so, yeah, I spoke about it, and then there was, landed in New York, and it was like shit fire. Everybody was protesting what I said, like, oh, we're boycotting your music, don't ever fucking come to South Africa. I was like, okay, well, fine. I spoke my truth, it only hurts if there's some truth in it for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deep thing because I always think about this invisible hand of white supremacy informing our conversations and the creation of a post-apartheid black middle class. Bound to be intense tension and by design. First of all, we're talking about a people, the Dutch in particular, who are skilled in social engineering, skilled in division. But then, and skilled in both Americans, white Americans, Europeans, and Dutch and British folks in South Africa, who were also skilled in doing the work in our education system to keep us apart from each other. So by the time we interact, we're like, nah, I don't see you, I can't see you.
I don't even know what you're saying. I don't speak the same language.
Right, that too. And, so... Yeah, it's just been a heartbreaking thing so I think what was great about it is that it did sort of create an important space to have the conversation.
Yeah, the conversation was good.
Yeah.
What was important for me, and just to say, I just speak my truth.
Yeah.
And it's my opinion, and hopefully the intent is always for a fair reasoning of nature, and the good thing was, about 3-4 months after they had the riot in Cape Town, the people actually stood up for the first time. I was like, okay, now
with the fees must fall stuff.
Yes, and then I had like a lot of the people that were against me came back. Oh, now I see. Now I'm seeing what you're saying, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
And I've gone back since. I just played
I saw that.
last Christmas.
I appreciate it.
And it was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, wow, we have to do the work.
Yes,
because we will show up like not knowing who the enemy is. Because when I realized that de Klerk and Reagan and Thatcher, were in conversation, and that black folks globally were catching hell in the 80s. When you talk about coming to LA in the 80s, and I know that I was witnessing what crack was doing, what AIDS was doing, and then I go to London and Brixton cats were like, yes, we were doing this, and Thatcher was shutting us down here in South Africa. Obviously, the quote-unquote democracy didn't happen until 94. I'm like, the 80s?
Yeah.
The 80s. So it's a deep thing that house music ends up being this kind of sound, this kind of sonic force that black folks and particularly queer folks are gathering in and leading the discussion around and creating the culture in. And black folks were catching hell at that time. So it's interesting to be privileged because there is black Americans do experience a certain kind of hypervisibility. We have to be honest about this idea of access and sadly the nation that we're associated with. But we do need to have conversations, and I was really happy that you were like, hey, this is my kind of report from travel. This was my experience, and this is how my mama was treated.
This is how my mama was treated.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I could take it, but
but
don't
see,
mess with my mother.
Right,
Like,
that's a global.
I will cut you for real.
That is a global. That's where we do connect. Well, he said something about your mama.
Right, exactly.
Did he say something about your mama? Like. Yeah, go on about my mama soul, right? Like wherever you don't, wherever we are, you don't talk, right? Because I always love my mama, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So, dear mama, but anyway, just the number of black sonic
Mama
tributes
songs.
to black mamas. But anyway, so food.
Food. Yeah. I
You
love
are a
food.
food person.
I love food.
Tell me about how that happened, when that happened. Is that about travel? Was that in the home in
It's
St.
part
Louis?
of my travel, but I've always because I was adopted, so I lived in. My father was the worst cook. He couldn't boil a hot dog, so I had to cook for him when mom worked. And, just as a young kid, I just learned. But in my travels, I started about 5 years ago. I started changing the way I tour. And so I do territories now. I do 3-4 months in the territory. And so I'm in Australia, Asia. I'm here for 3 months this week.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm in a place in Australia, and so I'm in a place and I cook. So because I have friends everywhere, I just, that's my thing. Every day cooking and music. And it's become, it's very important. I think it's my second passion after music.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many of you grew up playing music in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a part, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
food and music.
Yeah, food is so
Right?
much better with music.
Yeah.
And a little bit of wine.
Right. And sex, but No, I was actually thinking about that combination of spirituality, sexuality, food, travel.
Yeah.
I mean, and how those things are related,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's as a DJ, as a traveling DJ, those are the only things you get to experience.
Sex,
Travel,
food, travel.
hotel, or place. Well, not really much sex.
Oh.
But food.
I was like, hotel sex? No, but it depends. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, food.
Right?
But yeah, which I gotta say, the food here is amazing.
It is, right?
The food here is really good. Didn't explore as much as I want to, but I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm coming back. Oh, I'm coming. For sure.
But it reminds me of the food here reminds me of why the hell I had no idea of why am I growing up on gumbo in LA?
Right.
I was like, how did
LA?
Right. So then I was like, oh my gracious, oh shit, y'all.
Yeah, because
all
you
of
said
y'all
you wanted to
from-
get some
right.
gumbo when you got here.
I was
Yeah.
like, right. And when people made gumbo in LA in the 80s, they'd be like, hey, tell your mama we making gumbo. Y'all can only have one crab leg. But tell your mama we got gumbo.
Yeah.
And they were from Louisiana, and the folks were from Texas, and these folks were from Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
So, just thinking about how food travels, music travels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing thing. Let's see, one more question, and then I'll open it up to you all. You know who I want to spend, I want to hear about your understanding of the kind of cultural and musical significance of Aretha Franklin.
Oh man, Aretha Franklin to me was the first female voice I ever heard. That was my mom's, that was it. My mom was Rita, my dad was James.
Interesting.
When
Queen
James Brown
and
died, my
father.
dad cried like a baby. I'm like, oh, that was your dude, for real. Like, I didn't know, You hear it in the house when you're a kid, and you're like, okay, I know those songs. But Aretha was like, this is a soul for me. That's like everything from, from birth, kind of like, wow, there's some things she's done that's just in my membrane, like Mr. Spain. And yeah, that was a big one for me. Losing her and Prince were huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been thinking about Aretha daily, quite honestly.
Yeah, because you actually you have a connection with it.
Yeah, but also you taught me an interesting thing though about attachment, and I asked you about Prince because again, when we were in Greece, right, and you were like, "Listen,
I got his music."
You period. He gave us what he had, right?
Yeah.
So
that
we
was
can,
it.
That's powerful though, because I have an attachment, and then I've been thinking about Black women in music, right, and the way that we think about both Aretha and Nina as singers versus musicians versus deeply skilled, brilliant, genius pianists.
Versus
pianist.
Yeah, both.
Right?
Yeah.
Out the Black church.
Yeah.
Right? Which also gave birth to house and soul and jazz and funk and blues, right? So, but thinking about Aretha as, I hope that I do not offend anyone, but I read her as a Baptist bitch.
Yeah.
Gangster in her Christianity.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've just done like a deep dive thinking about her as just a musical genius, but also as a funketeer. Because I feel like she gets read as soul. I'm like, do you mean jazz, soul, gospel, rock, and folk?
I mean, come on, her and Curtis.
Her and Curtis.
Her and Curtis? Funk? What? What?
Sparkle.
Yeah, exactly. Sparkle. Funk.
Yeah. Funk.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to get your take on that. Just her as a musician.
Yeah, no, she was epic. Her voice was an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a one-of-a-kind instrument.
Yeah.
It was moving. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's you feel it.
Yeah.
You know, you feel that.
And it's interesting because she was, to some degree, when her mother passed, raised by Mahalia Jackson. Like Mahalia Jackson was a part of her Detroit, connection along with James Cleveland. So just thinking about, again, this tri-city of like black music, the St. Louis and Chicago and Detroit that gave us you and Aretha and to some degree Michael. I mean, I don't think that Indiana is necessarily in the Trinity, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
but part of it because he migrated there, right?
Close enough.
Right. That Midwestern
You
piece.
gave out Miles.
Miles from Illinois?
Alton.
Okay.
But basically it's St. Louis.
East St. Louis?
No, that's the other side of.
Okay, because that's where my family's from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rush City.
Yeah,
You're not ready.
What?
You're not ready.
I used to
for
go
no Rush
party in
City.
East St. Louis.
Woo!
See, everybody, because St. Louis is Bible Belt, so everything closes at 2, so we all go to East St. Louis and do the dirt.
Listen, East St. Louis was open.
So that's why it's
It was open.
City. Yeah.
That's where the juke joint, there was a place,
absolutely.
right?
That's like, oh, you're going to East St. Louis.
Right.
Ouch.
Right.
It's serious over there.
I don't
go to East St. Louis.
Listen, that's
But I
where
don't go out anymore, so.
But, so Miles Davis ran in that area. I know that he was, so it's interesting to think about these little pockets of, when I think about like the Ninth Ward or, just the, Watts in LA or, just these little pockets of funky black people.
Yeah.
These pockets of funky black people.
We all over.
So, hi y'all. Y'all here? Will y'all join the conversation and ask a question and we'll wrap up, then we'll start the music?
Yeah.
Any questions?
All right, y'all. We ask that you speak into the mic so everybody can hear. Yeah? Question? We can get almost to you.
Hi. It
Hello.
is great to have this conversation with you. Listen to. Sorry.
That's all right. You good?
Cheers.
You in the pocket.
Right.
So, I know about you from Facebook, literally, but like from 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually like almost the time of your last album, so that kind of blows my mind. I had no idea you had this kind of history. Kudos to everything. I can't go into that.
Thank you.
Like, props to everything. But I'm curious, particularly you being in New Orleans. This is also my first time in New Orleans.
Okay.
I'm from Brooklyn.
All right. Yeah, baby.
I've
Yeah.
seen you before.
Huh?
I've seen you before.
Harriet's alter ego.
Another funk pocket. Go ahead.
So, you said, and I'm curious, particularly when you said I'm a child of Oshun and Oya. And this city, right? The city has a huge river and also has huge winds.
Yes.
I'm just curious,
Yesterday,
how did you name your label Osunlade?
No, that's my name.
That's the name.
That's your real name?
That's my name.
Your government?
My government.
I mean,
My birth name. My government?
We don't honor no government.
That's my birth name.
Yeah.
okay. So that's what's up. So this had not been any other conversation. I'm going to pass the mic after this. Real talk. I'm just curious after that. So please forgive me if it's too much, but who were you adopted by?
Who's I adopted by?
Well, you said that's your who gave you your name?
The Orisha gave me my name.
So that is the name from when you
That is the name that I am
initiated.
recognized from the source that created us all.
That's yeah. Okay. So I'm just deeply, deeply grateful for being here.
Thank you for
and
coming.
at this time. Thank
Honestly.
you. Peace.
Thank you all so much. I just have a question about migration. You know, I don't think people are talking enough also about what's happening now with people leaving the North, you know, and repatriating to the South or to other countries. I'm from Chicago originally.
Okay.
200,000 people have left Chicago, you know, over the past decade, and moving to Atlanta and, you know, just taking that sound of house music.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, you know, you moving back to St. Louis, because like I went to Chicago a month ago and I don't even recognize it anymore, you know? And I left, you know, for some of the same reasons why house music was created when I was a little girl and I was trying to get into the Warehouse or Medusa's or something like that, was because of the violence, but now because of gentrification and all of these other things being pushed out, you know, how will, and then the church also, people leaving the church now, and I'm just wondering, what do you see as a musician and an energy light bearer, all of these things, what is the next wave of music? Or, you know, just you being in St. Louis and traveling, and how are we going to recreate these new guttural sounds?
Good question.
Yeah, very good.
I have no answer for you. I only have hope for it. I mean, I think that, you know, the issue with music in general today is that it's not as organic as it should be, you know. And but I think that as there's more music being created because there's more people doing it, probably more that shouldn't do it, but there's more doing it. But you know, I'm honestly, so I mean, you know, it's a technical thing versus it's a skill thing versus a talent thing now. All you need to do is learn a platform or a format.
Absolutely.
You know, so but I think that there's also the same amount of people that are pushing, you know, organic music. I mean, New Orleans is an example, you know, where I think the music is always going to find its place. It's always going to find its place, and you know, I'm going to be here. So, you know, and I know all my peers. You know, we have you know, the thing that's funny. Most people go, you know, it's deep house or sofa house, it's underground. Like nothing's underground now. Everything is available as long as you know what you're looking for. So, I think the thing is bringing the communities together. That's the thing. Like we were talking earlier about people coming tonight from different states to see the party tonight and that kind of thing, you know, bringing the communities together and traveling and actually migrating to create a more community, a common ground with not only just the music but events and arts and other things as well. But I have a faith that, you know, this is the only language we all speak. So we will never lose it. You know, it starts at a tempo that we were all born at, our heartbeat. So it's innate. You will not ever miss it, and it's, you know, and it can't be duplicated. What we do, you know what I mean? There's forms of it, but that thing of when you come to a party and you listen to house music, and it's not only the thing about the beat or the song or whatever. It's that feeling of release, that actual spiritual cleansing. You know, and that's the thing. That will never be lost. I tell people, okay, yeah, I'm going to play the club, but I'm going to go play a party. You know, where I played Brooklyn 2 weeks ago, and it was, you know, we got rained out, and so we did it in the inside, and it was literally just hits, just dancers.
I love it.
Everyone had their space, and you know, I mean, you'll never lose that. You know, that's inside of us, and that's the connection of the music and the people. So. I have no worries about what's going to be, but I don't know what it will. But you know, there's young people that are coming up that's doing stuff, and we're, you know, I'm mentoring people as well now, so it will continue.
All right, shout for me. And then over here. Okay. Yeah.
So I just want to say something about what you said earlier, and something that you said also. Is I'm from Africa and I'm from Togo, and I do music. Yep. But one thing that I do is that we do a lot of Afrobeat that is inspired from Nigeria. Yep. And now I have a friend, actually he's here.
Hello.
Who's gonna play right after this talk?
Yeah, yeah,
DJ
yeah.
OJ is gonna take us on a journey, FYI.
Nice.
So, and then you said that never lose, like the root of the music or the root of, whatever kind of genre music,
Yeah.
which is our traditional music. That's what we actually modernized to make Afrobeat pop.
Yeah.
You see? So now, New Orleans is known for bounce music.
Yeah.
So we are trying now to implement that Afrobeat together with the bounce music.
Okay.
And they're not losing the Afrobeat, and if they're not losing the bounce music, we
Yeah.
can actually pull them apart and bring them together.
Yeah.
Even traveling the music, still keep that originality. That when it's time to bring it back, you can bring it back.
Yeah.
Lose it. So that's just something that I wanted.
That's exactly what you should be doing. That's it. You know, the purity of whatever you're passionate, what you need, and that specific thing is your own thing. Everything after that will be after that. You can build from that. The combination of the two. Sounds beautiful. I can't wait to hear some
Yeah, that's dope.
of it. Yeah,
dope.
really.
So my question is sort of a mix of his statement and what came from on this side. I want to talk about math. So I grew up, I'm DC head, East Coast in the house,
Go.
tracks, that whole situation. So really danced in the house since I was like 14. And recognizing that there's a quintessential and almost Fibonaccian math in house.
Yeah.
And then after traveling through East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, South Asia, India, and the Caribbean, and Condomble, Santeria, Voodoo, all of that, somehow that mathematics allows our consciousness
Right.
a sort of freedom.
Yeah.
But house in particular has the capacity to do something with that math.
Yeah.
Now, that African traditional, particularly religious beat, it's the subtlety and the specificity in it, cross-culture,
Yeah.
in a way, is so mind-blowing. So talk to me about that math inside of house.
For me, it's, when I started doing house, it was simple for me because I come from funk and I come from soul. So for me, house music is soul music at a faster tempo. It started for me, like everything for me is the song. I was groomed at the song. You write the hook, you got the verse, you got the hook again, the verse, B section of why I broke up with you, now the chorus again, And so I was groomed this song. So when I started doing house, I was like, oh, this is great. This is just at a faster tempo, and I can make a song that will actually bring you into the thing, but that you have that heartbeat. You always have that heartbeat, and that was always my math. Write the song first. If you have the substance, then no matter if I did a drum and bass or a trap version of it, the song's there is good. So it's always the song first. Yeah.
But I think that's an incredible question to think about music as math. I mean, especially,
it is math.
right?
Yeah,
it's fully
absolutely.
math,
It's
but
absolutely
thinking
math.
about
Rhythms. It's
Black
math.
people's relationship to numbers and music, like the 12-bar blues,
Yep.
like the one, and like 4 to the floor,
Yeah.
right? But
The 1 and the 3.
right,
2
the
and
1 and the
4,
3 and the 2 and the
the
4.
1 and the
Those
3
are
and the 2 and the 4. Come on
listen,
now.
that
For real,
determines
like,
my partnership. Do you dance on the 1 and the 3 or the 2 and the 4?
Exactly.
Like, wait a minute.
For
Like,
real.
that
That's
determines.
some serious stuff.
That's a serious question of where
That's
you
a
clap
serious
and where you
thing,
land,
for
right?
real.
But I think about house because I think about something very. I'm trying to keep house centered in other forms of music like jazz because
Yeah.
there is nothing more to me brilliant than the fact that John Coltrane and Alice Coltrane and Miles Davis could create improvisational music
Yeah.
for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's mathematics.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
talking about like show your work? No, I'm computing on the
I'm
spot.
creating it now.
And I'm on beat.
Yeah.
And these downbeat white jazz critics cannot keep up, so
Yeah.
they have dismissed it
Yeah.
because the math is inaccessible.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important to
Yeah.
think about.
So y'all, I have the word that we are at time. Is that right, Dr. Kara? Yes.
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 Yes,
So
yes,
this
yes.
is the deal, y'all. We about to practice what was preached right now. Okay? So we are going to have a little reception. Get yourself a drink, use the bathroom, order some food if you like. Give us about 10 minutes to get these chairs out of here so we can open up this dance floor in here. DJ OJ and Ben Shaw.
night. It's gonna be the same vibe. October 26th. Yeah. Congress of Harlem. All black. You guys are awesome tonight. I've never seen anything like this in Orleans before. You guys are hot. Feel a lot of energy tonight.
One line reflection of me. You are my good night's rest, my full day of accomplishments. You are a constant reminder of why I am. You, like me, bear seeds of relief to the world. We raise good crop for the hungry souls to eat from. We as a team walk gracefully, tilling the land. You are the reflections. Here I stand, with you in mind. Every time someone smiles at me or gives reward, I know that you are here. You are my seers say he's a fool and promise that you're cool inside, but you just can't envision it. Maybe one day you'll be brave and trust your life and save today. You just can't envision it. Can't envision it. Can't envision it.
ain't nothing to me.